starting in a new series of preaching on this morning, and we're going to start a series diving deeper into our faith this morning. Hebrews chapter 11 is called the faith chapter. Contained within this chapter is not just the meaning of faith, but the proof of faith. Some call it the Hall of Faith instead of the Hall of Fame. And the proof is shown through our heroes of faith all throughout that chapter, or as I'm going to refer to them, as our faith foundations. Over the next several weeks, we're going to be looking at different faith foundations, and each week we're going to be diving into the lives and faith of each person or persons of faith. And we'll see how our faith and our walk with God can be strengthened by the godly example that has been set before us. There are examples of faith that can build our faith in such a way that it can continue to transform. And if you would just to bear with me a little bit here, we're going to look at this morning's first message in this Faith Foundation series. I'm going to be preaching this morning on the farmer and the shepherd, or in the portions of. Most people say the farmer and the shepherd. Where in the world was there a farmer and the shepherd together in the Bible? Well, I'm so glad that you asked, and we're going to get into that this morning. Let's look at our scripture. We're going to look at Hebrews chapter 11, verse number 4, and then we'll be bouncing back to Genesis chapter 4. Hebrews 11, 4, and bouncing back to Genesis chapter 4. Hebrews 11, 4 reads as such, by faith Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and through it he, being dead, still speaks. Genesis chapter 4, starting with verse 1, says, Now Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord. Then she bore again, this time his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, a shepherd, but Cain was a tiller of the ground, a farmer. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and their fat, or the King James says their fat portion. And the Lord respected Abel and his offering, but he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So the Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. And its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. And verse number 8 says, Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. Let us pray. Precious Heavenly Father, Lord, as we come to you in prayer this morning, Lord, I pray that this message, Father, that you just open the eyes and the ears of the hearts of your people, Father, and help us to be able to take your word and to hide it away in our heart. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. The farmer and the shepherd this morning. So as we read through that, we saw how Cain and Abel were brothers, and we all know about that particular account in the Bible. I don't like saying the story, but it was a biblical, historical account of two brothers in the Old Testament. And we all know that we could preach about murder and being thy brother's keeper and all those things, but I'm not going to touch on any of that this morning. But in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 4, it says that Abel had brought a sacrifice unto the Lord and gave a witness of his righteousness. But yet not only Abel brought a sacrifice, but Cain brought one as well. But there was a difference in their sacrifice. Nowhere in Genesis chapter 4 does it begin to tell us an exact reason as to why God favored Abel's sacrifice over Cain. Nowhere does it say the Lord looks at Cain and say, your brother did this is why I looked at it that way. But as we can see, with Abel being in the Hall of Faith, there had to be some attribute of faith that was given into his offering. His offering had to have been one that was given because of his faith in God Almighty. But it goes on in Genesis chapter 4 to tell us that he not only gave his offering, Cain gave his of the fruit, but it says there was a difference in how it said Cain gave his and now Abel gave his. It said that Abel gave the first of his flock, and the fat thereof, and the fat portion. So he not only gave just something, but he gave the best. He gave the first. He gave that which was blessed to him, and he blessed back to God. Nowhere does it say that about Cain, so we have to look at the scripture and say, well, we should show a very likely reason as to why God honored Abel's sacrifice over top of Cain's, not because there was a difference in one giving one type of sacrifice to others, but there's a difference in him giving the best and giving the first. So as I began to pray and I began to look at this and talking about our faith foundation, I said, Lord, what can we look at this? How can we learn from this, Father? What is something that I can learn from this? There's a question that the Lord brought to my heart, and the question that He brought to me is says, what portions are you bringing? The Lord asked me, what portion are you bringing? What are you bringing to the table when it's time for sacrifice? What are you giving up? What are you blessing me with all the blessings that I blessed you with? What are you going to bless me with? So I began to pray and I began to look at them and say, Lord, there's different things that we can do, but I feel God answered my prayer with 7 areas I want to look at this morning. So we're going to ask the question, what portion of, we're going to ask you this morning, what portion of time are you giving to the Lord? If we truly have faith in Jesus Christ, if we believe that He is the author and the finisher of our faith, how much time are we giving to Him? If we're looking at a portion you're supposed to be a part of, it's supposed to be we're giving our share. You're giving your investment to the Lord. And sometimes God gets our leftover time. Sometimes God gets what we can get around to. That is not giving time to God that we have faith in. He blesses us in times that we don't even deserve to be blessed. He gives to us in times when we fail. Why would I not want to give Him my very best time? Now, I'm not telling you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and say your prayers and read your Bible and do whatever, because 5 o'clock may not be your best time. I've seen some of you early in the morning. Morning is not your best time. Mine will go like this because it's the right answer. Some of you may be night owls, and maybe instead of taking your time and doing things for self, you should be giving more time to God. Because that is your time where you are most alert. So whatever is your best portion of time, take it from self, take it from world, and give it to God. Because God deserves the best portion of time that we have. Why? Because He took enough time to hang on a tree suspended between heaven and earth and died for me and you. Why should I want to be able to do more time for Him? I believe that if you will take the right portion of time, God will honor you, and you will be able to see the righteousness that's in you because you're taking the time to take time for God. Sometimes you have to deliberately make time for God. We make time for everything else. We make time for our spouse. We make time for our children. We make time for our job. We make time to wash laundry. I said wash and not wash, I know. We make time to do these things. If you are hungry, you make time to feed yourself, don't you? So if you're hungry spiritually, why aren't you making time to feed yourself spiritually? Coming to church on Sundays is not going to adequately feed you spiritually. It is not going to be giving the right portion of time. Because I'm going to tell you, some of you don't eat one time a week. We don't eat one time a day. Goodness gracious, some of us eat 6. So why don't we give more time to God than anything else? Also this morning as I looked and I prayed, what portion of tithes and offering are you giving to the Lord? Oh no, the scripture is preaching about money. Okay, I'm not preaching about money, I'm preaching about your heart. If you truly love the Lord, you're going to want to give your best. Because God gave you your job. God gave you your house. God gave you your car. God gave you your children. God gave you your spouse. God gave you the ability to get up in the morning, get you dressed in your right mind. He gave you the ability for all those things. And if God is going to bless us so abundantly, why would we not want to be able to bless and to be able to sow into what God is doing all the time? And there is a difference between tithes and offering, church. Tithes is what we should be wanting and are expected to be able to give. Your offering is going above and beyond what God is asking you to be able to do. So guess what? If somebody gets up and say, hey, I'd like to be able to take up an offering, don't be taken away from your tithes to give an offering. I know I had people tell me, say, preacher, I cannot afford to pay my tithes. I cannot afford not to. I understand. Let me say this, and I had something said to me just the other day, and I thought this was a bit of wisdom. We all know we looked and we were supposed to give a tenth. Supposed to give our first, supposed to give 10%, whatever, if we want to get into that, okay? But here's what we will get into. You should be willing to give God whatever God lays upon your heart to be able to give. Maybe you're not used to giving. Well, give a few dollars this week, give a few dollars the next, or this month, or whatever. I don't know what you're supposed to be able to get or what you're not get. Just ask God to be able to build your faith into your giving. Whether that's $5 this week or $5 this month, whatever, give. God will bless a cheerful giver. Also, what portion of effort are you giving to the Lord? You know it takes an effort to be a Christian. It takes an effort to do things for the Lord. It takes an effort to come to church. It takes an effort to love on other people. Amen? But are you putting your best foot forward when it comes to giving those efforts? How often do we go out of our way to be able to love on somebody else for the cause of Jesus Christ? Well, I didn't know that you know that somebody hadn't been there for 3 Sundays. What effort did you put into seeing where they've been? But the enemy will do everything that can be done to be able to make it a habit of them not attending church. Amen? We should make it an effort that if God puts somebody on our heart, take the effort and time to pray for them. God did not bring someone to your memory or to your recollection just for you to think about it. He brought them to your mind and to your recollection for you to be able to take them before the throne of grace boldly. For you to be able to pray for them. So if God brings Beverly to your mind, pray for it. God brings Mandy to your mind, pray for it. God brings your pastor to your mind, pray for them. Don't just think about them. Don't just think about them. But pray for them because God has a reason. And our efforts will be blessed. The more effort you put into walking for the Lord, the more blessings He will give you. I totally believe that. How do I know that? Because believe you me, God has blessed my efforts more and more each and every day. Especially when I want to do more for Him. What portion of work are you giving the Lord? We know this, that our works does not determine our salvation. But because you are saved, you should want to work. What we do for the church is not going to get us into heaven. It's not going to get you a better match than the other one. You ain't going to get a room closer to Jesus just because you volunteer every day of the week. Okay? But guess what? If you are a born-again, Spirit-filled, walking with God Christian, you should want to work for the Lord. Whatever manner of work that is. It may not even be you doing something in the local church. It may be you doing something in the community. It may be you volunteering somewhere. It may be you doing something extra for your family that comes out to be work for the Lord. Because guess what? Do it unto the Lord. Everything you do should be done unto the Lord. So do it right. Do it with effort. Do it with the right portion of your work. Let me put it this way. If you're going to work for the Lord without grumbling about it. If you're going to work for the Lord and you're going to grumble about it, I will not do it. I can't believe you said that. You're not doing it with the right heart. If you're complaining about it, they also back up one. If you're giving and you're complaining about what you're giving, just don't give it. God wants you to be cheerful in what you're doing. He wants you to have the faith to believe that if you'll put it in, He'll bless you for it. Okay? That doesn't mean, man, don't do that. Are you doing something for the Lord? And somebody said, where are you going? I'm going to go down and do this at the church. You know what? Don't do it that way. Do it the way God would expect you to be able to do it. Look at it this way. You are honored to be able to work for the King of Kings and the God of all glory. You are honored to be able to give into the works of God in such a way that you will see those works come to fruition and see God do something amazing because of what you were willing to do. Amen? Quiet this morning. What portion of attitude are you giving to the Lord? I heard the old saying, the attitude can determine your aptitude. And I didn't put much stock into that too much. There are people that are watching our attitude, church, as we are claiming to be children of God. And we should be putting our best attitude into everything that we do. I'm not going to say you're not going to have a bad day. Anybody in here that's never had a bad day, go ahead and raise your hand. I knew it. Everybody has a bad day. But guess what? Misery loves company. You don't need to be sharing with everybody else how bad your day is. Now, if you're asking someone to pray for you, that's one thing. But don't drag somebody else down with you. Amen? We should give our best attitude. And if there's a situation going on, and I'm just going with that, if there's a situation going on and you don't agree with them, don't start telling them how you don't agree with them and how they're wrong and all this other stuff. Pray for them. Show the godly attitude about it. Two more. Here's a big one. What portion of self are you giving to the Lord? Sometimes we have a tendency to give not just the leftovers of time, but the leftovers of ourselves to the Lord. We give down that run-down self, that weary self, that down and out self. But we've done and went and done everything for everybody else. We've accomplished everything that we need to get done for the day. You're like, okay, Lord, I'm yours. God doesn't deserve leftovers of time, nor does He deserve leftovers of you. And you know what the portion of yourself that you ought to be given? It isn't a share. It isn't a pot. It's all. You should be giving all of yourself to God. Humbly and willingly. Saying, Father, here I am, a willing vessel. Use me. Father, here's the clay. Mold me and make me into what you have me to be. Sometimes you may have to squish that clay back together because it don't form right. And sometimes, if you're honest, sometimes we're not real pliable. And we may be on the potter's wheel, but we don't work real good. So He has to break us back down. Knead a little bit. And then build us back up. So He can make us into something usable. Something workable. For what the potter's needs are. Not the clay's. The potter has the ability to work the clay into the most majestic things. Sometimes the clay, as I heard one potter say, sometimes acts stubborn. I never forgot that. Sometimes the clay's a little stubborn. Amen? Sometimes we need to be done with a little bit more force. Because the potter's trying to get the clay to go one way, but yet the clay wants to go this way, and he has to force it over. Because we're stubborn. Can you just feel that? Of how we are sometimes? The Lord just has to grab a hold of us and just move us. And there's even times they pull everything off and they have to add things to and take things away. Sometimes the clay becomes dry, so you have to add a little bit more of that water. Add a little bit more of the Spirit poured over top of us to make us more into what He needs. Because the whole message will not get dry for the politics. Lord, help us to make sure that we're giving the portion, which is all of ourselves. Paul says that I die daily. That I give myself as a living sacrifice unto the Lord. God just doesn't want our minds to be a living sacrifice, but He wants our hearts, our desires, our everything to be a living sacrifice unto Him. Because guess what's going to happen then? Then you're going to see the best of us come to the surface. Because then what happens before the best come? All that yucky stuff rises to the surface. Because He works it all out. And sometimes He's got to put us through the fire for it all to come to the top. And He scrapes all the nasty stuff away. Because then what happens when they all get all that nasty stuff? Then you see the best part, the shiny part of what's going to happen and what He's able to use. So give all of yourself, even that which you think is unusable, that which you think is worthless, because nothing is impossible with my God. Giving self. One more. Here's a big one this morning. All these will come back into one. What portion of faith are you giving Him? What portion of faith are you giving Him? You know that faith in God is more than just the mountaintop. It's in the deepest dark of the valley. And it's more than in the valley. It's in the moment of your lack of understanding. It's in the moments of your confusion. It's in the moments of you being mad. But I'm not talking about this church. It's another church that's mad. Nobody hears that. But the moments of us getting so frustrated, and so upset, and you won't be like, you just want to stand out in the middle of the road and go, "Why, Lord?" It's in those moments that your faith can be made the strongest. If you're able, even in the midst of the distress, and say, "Lord, I don't understand, but I'm going to trust you anyway. I can't see the other side of this, but I'm going to trust you anyway." Because you are the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. The same God that's always been there will always be there. The same one that was there. Speaking everything into the existence. It's the same personal God that reached down to Adam and breathed life into his nostrils. It's the same God that can breathe life into me where I am so down and out. But if I would give my portion of faith, well, how much is the portion of faith? Give it all you got. Give it everything that you got. Hold on for dear life. Why? Because it's in those times that you think that God's late and God isn't going to show up and you're frustrated to no end. That's when God says, "I'm still on time because I'm never late, I never sleep, I never slumber, and I've been there with you the whole time, even when you didn't see me." Because it's behind the scenes, I'm still working things out for your victory. Why would I not want to give God my best, the best portion of everything I got, everything that He blessed me with? It's not mine anyway, it's God's. God has blessed me with 3 wonderful children. And for this season of this life, I get to instruct them in the ways of God. But I also know they're not just mine, they're His. because he knew him before they were even formed in their mother's womb. God knew my children before I did. Makes you just want to go up to the Capitol Hill and preach to a few people. That's another side. But God knew them. Why would I not want to honor him by training up my children to what he's doing? By giving that faith he's given me and instilled in me, and putting a portion of that faith into them. Not just should we be giving this portion of faith to God, but give it to those that are around you. Well, sometimes, preacher, I don't feel like I have enough faith to share. Well, ask for a little bit more. Because that's what he's going to be faithful to give. Say, Lord, I don't want it for me, but I want it for my lost loved ones. I don't want it for me, but I want it for the children you blessed me with. God, I don't want it for me, but I want it for my neighbor that I know that needs you. So God, raise up faith in me in such a way that my portion cup is overflowed in faith for you. Lord, help us. So I'm going to ask you a question this morning. Is your faith, is it a faith with a foundation you can build on? I want you to understand something. Our faith is the foundation to which he will build a house where the Spirit of God will reside in us. We have to have a foundation. This church building has a foundation. That fellowship hall has a foundation. Without that foundation, the house will crumble. The house will fall. So I want to have a foundation that's built on the solid rock of ages. A foundation that's built in the faith of Jesus Christ. Nothing less, nothing more. Because unless I have Jesus Christ, I have nothing. If I try to seek more than him, I'll never find it. Because there is nothing more than Jesus Christ. There's nothing. I ask that I should seek after than Jesus Christ. And that foundation will not just be one that you build upon, but there will be others that will build upon your foundation of faith. There are those through the years that I have built my faith on the foundation that they began to lay for me. Because they showed me what it meant to have faith in God because of the godly example that they set before me. Hearing of people that have been through times like no other. I'm going to tell this and I'm going to close. You know I get to say that 5 times, right? Put that out front so I'm not saying. Brother Charles Williams, I believe it was, or one of the ones that I remember hearing about. I might have to put that in there because I might be getting the wrong person mixed up. There is a gentleman that I remember hearing about, and it has stuck with me that he was just so gracious and humble before the Lord. There was some of the family that told him, doctor come in and told him, said, hey, you got stage this, whatever, cancer, you got 6 months to live. He just sat back and smiled. Hey, his family was for all the pieces. Did you not hear what they said, Daddy? You got 6 months to live. He said, I heard it, but I didn't hear what you heard. I heard I got 6 months to see Jesus. And he said, now I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do for the next 6 months to see how many I'm going to take with me. I mean, it's, man, he gave an attitude and a portion of faith to his family right then and there. They heard 6 months until death. He heard 6 months until life. And life more abundant than he ever had here. He heard 6 months till I'm not in pain. 6 months till I get to see Jesus Christ face to face. 6 months to glory of faith. He wasn't worried about what everybody else said. He was worried about who his faith was in. He knew the foundation that it was built upon. And it was none the less, and nothing less and nothing more than Jesus Christ and His righteousness. Praise the Lord. So I ask you this morning, is your faith a foundation that can be built upon? And also, what portion are you giving it? Maybe there's just one of these things. Maybe there's all of these things. Maybe it's just faith in general. I don't know. But I'm going to ask us all to stand this morning. With all head bowed and eyes closed this morning. Will there be any that would want to come and pray this morning? Any of y'all that would want to come and pray and just talk to the Lord this morning? Anybody would just up their hand and say, Pastor, pray for me. Lord knows all about it. Maybe something in the message, maybe something in the singing spoke to your heart this morning. Maybe the Lord just spoke to you and told you something this morning. I just want to be able to have the privilege to pray for you. Just enough that the Lord sees that hand, anybody else. The Lord sees that hand. Brother Larry Rowe, would you care to dismiss us in prayer this morning?